Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dana and today I have for you a Christmas roll that I think is gonna look amazing on your dinner table. I'm gonna start with the first step of this recipe. I need here 5 egg yolks, a pinch of salt, 50 grams of sugar, 77 grams of flour, 13 grams of cornstarch, 2 grams of baking powder, 50 grams of sunflower oil, and 50 grams of milk. And yes, you need a scale if you want to bake cakes. I'm gonna mix now flour, cornstarch, and baking powder, and I'm gonna let this aside. This way I'm gonna make sure that my cake is gonna rise and bake evenly. Next, I'm gonna add a pinch of salt over egg yolks and start mixing them using my hand mixer here. And I will start adding sugar gradually and continue to mix until the yolks are changing color and they will increase in volume. You will see they will look creamy yellow, and they will increase a lot in volume. So continue to add sugar and mix as well. So we started with bright yellow and now a pale yellow. I'm gonna add oil now. You can use any vegetable oil. I have this sunflower oil, so I'm gonna use this. Add milk. And next I'm gonna incorporate the flour without over mixing. We don't wanna develop any gluten in this, so try to incorporate the flour without over mixing it. So this is the first step of our recipe. We're gonna make now a meringue. And for this I need 5 egg whites and 70 grams of sugar. And again, I'm gonna start mixing the whites for about a minute until they start getting whiter and increase a bit in volume. So I do not add the sugar right away because it's gonna take longer to dissolve for some reason. Now I'm starting adding sugar in 3 stages. After each stage I'm gonna mix really well with my mixer here. The second time I'm adding sugar, keep on mixing. I want this meringue to be shiny and to be stable. That means we need stiff peaks. So continue to mix. Add now the third part of the sugar, and the meringue should come together in a minute or so. Keep on mixing. So this is how it's looking. The whisks are making traces in the meringue, and when you stop, you can see stiff peaks over there. Now I'm gonna start using just a spatula to incorporate the first batter into this meringue, again in 3 steps. So I did not add all that batter at once over my meringue, gradually incorporating, and now I'm just folding this batter because I do not want to take out the air that we put in the meringue, but I need this to be really well mixed. So just fold and make sure that you mixed everything really good. And in the meantime, preheat the oven. We will need to bake this cake at 170 Celsius. So preheat your oven. I have here the oven tray in which I'm gonna bake the sponge cake. I put baking paper at the base, but I'm also going to grease it with some sunflower oil using a brush, just a tiny bit of oil. Grease the pan really well. Pour the batter in. I'm gonna level it with a spatula. And I'm also going to use a scraper to level it really well to make sure that it has the same height all over my baking tray. So first I distribute the batter like you see now with the spatula, and to make sure that it has the same height, I'm just gonna use this scraper. I'm gonna put the sponge cake in the oven and bake it at 170 Celsius for about 30 minutes. Tap the tray to the counter to remove any air bubbles and in the oven. While the sponge cake is baking, let's make the filling. And for this, I need 200 grams of whipping cream and 20 grams of powdered sugar. Of course, I'm gonna use some cherry pie filling, but you can use any jam you want. I'm gonna start on low speed, mixing that cream, and after a minute, I'm gonna add sugar, powdered sugar, and continue to mix until we're gonna have a stable whipping cream. And I'm gonna put this in the fridge. So this is the sponge cake. I just took it out from the oven, and I'm trying to remove a bit the paper from the edges, and if it's any parts that are stuck to the tray, use a knife to remove that as well. Make sure to remove the paper from the edges to prevent wrinkling. And as you can see, my sponge cake has a really nice color on top, and if I touch it, it's not gonna stick to my fingers. I need to let it cool down for about 10 minutes, I'm gonna take it out from this baking tray and be patient and let it cool down for 10 minutes. I'm gonna put a wax paper on top of it and flip it upside down and remove the first paper on which we baked the sponge cake. I'm gonna cut on one end in an angle at 45 degrees the sponge cake, because I wanted, when I'm gonna roll it, to be nice and perfect like a roll. And I'm gonna put whipping cream now, and trust me, it's not gonna melt. The sponge cake is still warm, so do not let it cool down completely, only 10 minutes. If you let it cool down completely, it's gonna be harder to roll and can crack. But also whipping cream is not gonna melt if you put it now. I'm gonna level it nicely with a spatula or a knife. I'm gonna add a bit of pie filling, maybe 50-100 grams of pie filling. You can use your favorite jam as well, and start rolling it tightly using that wax paper. And as you can see, looks amazing. I'm gonna cut the ends just to remove them, and this way the cake will look nicer. And now you can let it cool down in the fridge. You can decorate it either with melted chocolate or just powder it with sugar. It's up to you. It's a delicious cake and not that hard to make. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and find reasons to smile. And I'm gonna see you here next time with another recipe. Bye bye!